Hello, this is the Game Grinder, the number one most scrumptious show in all of gaming. I'm Nick
And
Barrio.
I'm Peter Wade.
Just a warning for this week's episode. Because of spring break at school and coronavirus, we've lost access to our professional recording studio. So you may hear dog barks, human speech, and parrot chirps throughout this episode.
Yeah, you never know.
Yes. Anything can happen.
It's the mystery cast.
Yes, let's dig in. So, first off, games on the brain. Once again, for me, I am talking about Patapon.
Yep.
Just last night, I wrote out my Patapon review. It is clocked in at 8 pages, and I am in the process of making that into a video, so look forward to that.
Yeah.
The Patapon late game becomes very frustrating, and it made my opinion on it go down quite a bit. The bosses and just like levels in general are very tedious, and the difficulty like just spikes up near the end, and it's completely random too.
Yeah. I, on the other hand, have been playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX.
That's a long
It is
title.
a very long title, and it is a very good game. And I've also been working on my review of that game, which
I look forward to it.
hopefully many people do. I'm going to try and be fairly thorough, as I love Mystery Dungeon, and I would love to do the series justice and be able to recommend it to a lot of people because it's honestly, it's very underrated. Also, I watched season 3 of the Castlevania Netflix series, which
Oh, and how was that?
fantastic, really, really good. Even if you don't aren't familiar with Castlevania, I highly recommend the show, especially as like a starting point if the series has always interested you, but like you don't know much about it. The show just like as TV is like phenomenal. Season 3 definitely keeps the ball rolling, and it's really, really nice to see.
That is fantastic.
It is fantabulous.
Ooh, I look forward to watching that. I've only seen season 1, but I
Ooh,
gotta
it
catch
gets
up.
so much like season 1 is all right, but like 2 and 3 are they're really good.
All right, I look forward to that.
All
Do
right.
you want to introduce the next segment, or should I?
I'll introduce it. So this week, we actually have sad and stupid tales from the deep, dark depths of the games industry.
Sad and stupid.
And that is because Naughty Dog is overworking employees, and
That's not a surprise.
it really isn't, but it just sucks to hear,
Mm-hmm.
because like especially because Naughty Dog is like very you know they're very highly esteemed developers, and it's just really sad to like hear that a lot of the people working there are you know being overworked, and there's this whole thing where Jonathan Cooper made like a huge tweet thing kind of detailing what's going on, and they like tried to they like threatened to withhold his final paycheck until he agreed that he like wouldn't share the production practices, which is like really, really slimy and also illegal.
Mm. Should we read out his tweets or not?
uh I don't think so. I think we should probably put it in the description of the
The video.
yeah, of the video when it goes
All
live,
right.
because it's
So,
definitely it's
ladies and
worth
gentlemen,
reading on your own.
yes, when this is posted to YouTube and or major podcast services, check the description for a link to this thread. Is
Yes.
that what you call it when there's more than one
I
tweet?
mean, yeah, it's a Twitter thread,
Maybe.
but it's a Twitter thread of
Cool.
just him. So it's
And
essentially
also,
one
I'd
long
like to
tweet.
say, have you scrolled past his tweets?
Um,
All the responses like the top responses are just gifs of The Last of Us Part 2. May 29th, I can't wait.
Yeah,
Naughty gods, hashtag greatness.
yeah, that's really
Then sounds like if you want genre defining games, you gotta sacrifice. And they spelled sacrifice wrong, I think.
yeah,
The fact
that's
that Sony delayed it again shows that they care about the final product. I really don't care about disgruntled ex employees crying afterwards.
oh my God. That's
Let's
horrible.
see.
Like
Yeah.
that's not I don't know. I kind of hate how like a lot of gamers have this whole thing of like, "Oh my God, I like need to play the game immediately." Like, can you wait so that like the people making it don't like actually kill themselves over it? Like
Yeah, here's another
no
top
game is
tweet.
worth that,
I just want to know if The Last of Us 2 is going to be the GOAT or not. That's all.
bro. Like
Hopefully it's not. I
honestly,
wish that maybe Naughty Dog will crash and burn.
it's like I don't even want that. I just like I just want them to like learn that this is not how you should be doing things.
They had like 80% like turnover in staff from like Uncharted 4 to now,
Yeah.
which is insane.
Ugh, it's just
Um
really disheartening. I wish people had more respect for the people who make their friggin' video games, you know?
yeah, and I wish
It's
that
like
like
if
companies had respect for the people who make their video games as well.
yeah, it's like if you like especially just seeing some of these comments, it's like if you love the game, then like please try and spread some of that love to the people making it because they work unbelievably hard and like that's just scummy, but ugh. Oh well, that's how it be. Uh, hopefully things get better. I'm definitely glad
Mm,
that this is like public information now. Naughty Dog is probably pissed about this now that it's gone like public. That they kind of treat some of their workers not too well.
yeah, totally. They probably like hate this man now.
Yeah, but it's really good that this is out here. Wish people were
Yeah.
reacting to it more appropriately, but well, that's gamers for you.
Mhm. Thank you, gamers.
Yes, as always. All right, moving right along, we got some weekly news. Um,
Weekly news.
yeah, every week coming at you hot.
Wow. I can't believe there's enough news in the games industry to cover weekly.
Yeah, it's almost like it's a
It's
multi-million
crazy.
dollar industry.
I know. So what do we have this week, Peter?
So let's get it started with Lego Mario, which is kind of weird. I've been kind of trying
Yeah,
to like
like
read up like what it is exactly, and it's like at first I was like, oh, they're making official Mario Lego sets. Like that's cool, whatever. But like it seems like they kind of are doing that, but also they want it to be like a game somehow, and like I don't know, it's very odd.
but
Um,
it's also very much like not a game. Like I'd describe it as being like an interactive like electronic toy experience.
yeah,
So you got this Lego Mario who's got like a screen for eyes and a mouth and like in between his overalls. Um, and these screens can like display just different emotions and things that are happening. And then all the it must be NFC or something, but all the enemies and toys when Mario's like tapped on them, he can like register and know what he's on. So like he could like squish Goombas or go through
oh,
pipes or clear the level.
interesting. Yeah, definitely.
I would have preferred a Lego Mario game though. That would have been
That
weird.
would have been really
I would have
weird, and I'm
supported
still
that.
kind
Yeah.
of down for that, honestly.
Mm.
Um, but I think it's really interesting that we're seeing Nintendo branch out a lot. Uh,
Yeah.
'Cause
Especially because we have this, then we have like the theme
yeah,
park, and then like the movie.
yeah, it's really
They're just
interesting.
really trying to. Well, they have these characters that have like a global appeal, and now it's like they finally realize that they can like make all this money and uh like just spread the appeal of them even further.
Yeah. So I'm definitely excited to see how this goes, the theme park,
Hmm.
all this stuff. Uh,
Yeah, the theme park's gonna be awesome.
yeah,
I'm very excited for that.
I will have to save up money so that I can go and be an
Now we'll
8-year-old.
use GameCube funds to go review it.
Yeah, there you go.
We have 3 cents in our account.
Yeah. Not to brag or anything, but
Hmm.
we're kind of rolling in,
We are.
you know.
Subscribe
Yeah, please.
and give us good reviews on podcast services. Everything helps.
It does.
Spread the word of our fantabulous, as Peter put it earlier, show to all your friends and family, but only if they're gamers. No non-gamers allowed.
Yeah. This is a podcast about gatekeeping.
Yeah,
We'll get to that.
get out.
We will get to that on this week's news. But anyway, next piece of news is I don't know if people knew about this, but Nintendo is actually in a lawsuit about Joy-Con drift. Which, if you're unfamiliar,
Mm.
there's a product flaw with Joy-Cons that causes the analog sticks to like drift and basically become screwy. Um, and apparently, the judge rejected Nintendo's request to dismiss the case. Um, so that's still on. I think they said it's going to be handled out of court, and it's kind of being put on hold. And I'm not going to pretend like I understand exactly how courtroom stuff works, but it seems that Nintendo is like somewhat aware, um, or at least was aware that like Joy-Cons could drift before production. At least that's what I'm seeing. Um, and like that uh, they're not really like trying to change the way that they're making Joy-Cons,
Mm.
which
I think they implemented one fix like a year ago or something. Like there is a fix now. It's just like the older Joy Cons that are affected, but I'm not
uh,
100% certain on this, so don't take my word
yeah,
for it.
that might be true, but it seems like there's there's a lot of issues going on with Joy-Con drift still, and the lawsuit continues. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure we'll hear more about that um in the future.
I
Anyway,
mean, like so since the start of this lawsuit, they have taken actions to help customers. So
yeah,
in the U.S.,
that's
I
true.
believe if you have drift problems, they'll fix it for free.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Um, but at the same time, this lawsuit is still happening because there were years where they weren't even acknowledging the issue and charging to fix it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
kind of
fun
kind of
times.
scummy,
Hmm.
but every company's got their bad side going on. But but at least they're trying now, so that's something.
Hmm.
Anyway, next piece of news is that Doom Eternal will not be 4K on Stadia, despite the fact that that was promised.
Yeah, because it'll be 8K, right? They're gonna give their customers a better experience.
Well, with Stadia, no, I don't
No.
think that's ever
Oh,
going to be what
man, I'm
happens.
such a big Stadia fan.
I know.
I thought it was the most powerful way to play games on my Chromecast.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you go to the Google Stadia subreddit, like it looks pretty good.
I know, you can play games at the hospital while your wife is giving birth on
Yeah.
your phone, but you gotta hide it or she'll be
I actually
mad.
recently, because I was hanging out with one of my friends, and we actually went on the subreddit for Google Stadia, and it
Ew.
is almost all bots now.
Did you get infected?
No,
Okay, good. I was
luckily,
worried
luckily we
for a minute
managed to
there.
escape before any damage ensued. But
Good, good.
but yeah, this is just another piece of news that by the way, Stadia is bad. You know, it's just
Mm.
it doesn't work as advertised. The Google
I
state.
remember being like so excited too when the rumor first came out that Google is making like a legit games
Oh
console,
yeah.
not like a streaming service. And I remember reading that they had like a huge deal in plan with Sega where they were like funding like a lot of money to make like AAA Sega games be like revived, like games that we haven't seen in like over 20 years. And then not only was it not a console, the Sega deal like wasn't real. So,
Yeah. Also, I
yeah.
just want to say that I don't think it's unfair to call the Google Stadia the Fushigi of video games because much like the Fushigi, it's advertised to be a really cool thing and it just isn't real.
Can you explain what the fushigi is for our viewers who may be confused?
It's this really crappy toy that was advertised all the time on
Mm-hmm.
TV when like me and Nick were kids. And like everybody remembers the ads for this thing, and it was just like it was advertised as this like magic gravity ball, and you can do all these tricks with it, but it was just like fake.
I mean, I've never seen one in person, so I don't know that it's not a magic gravity ball.
Well, I have the whole like deal with it is that it's like you fool other people into thinking it's a magic gravity ball, but it's just a ball. So it is,
So can it be done with any ball?
yeah, it's
Wow.
really lame. It was a scam. But
Mm.
yeah. Anyway, um let's move along from Stadia to something else I want to talk about that's
Okay. But
sucky.
first, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
What's poppin'?
What is poppin' with Peter? And that's me. Uh my
Oh, I liked that.
yeah,
Do that every time.
okay.
Don't forget the and that's me.
Yeah. Well, it is. It's true. It's the undeniable truth. But my little PSA for the week is don't be pissed about exclusives getting ported. Um, just in
I
general.
am though.
The reason I'm bringing this up is because Horizon Zero Dawn got announced that after being a PS4 exclusive for I don't know how long has it been, a year or two,
Mm,
I think.
2016 or 2015?
Oh wow, okay,
Maybe
it's been way
2016.
longer than I thought even.
Let me look.
All right,
Actually 2017, but February 2017.
okay, so I'll say it's been an exclusive for 3 years. And it's
Mhm.
getting ported to PC, and you're seeing a lot of people being like upset about it being ported, and I don't get it.
Okay, so here's my input on this. I'm not necessarily upset about things like this, but every time I see it, I feel like the PlayStation brand is diminished a little. So you are sharing it with new people, but exclusives are and remain a way to drag new people into the ecosystem,
It's true, but like,
especially when the console is cheaper than it's ever been, and same thing with the game.
yeah, but at the same time, like, it has been an exclusive for multiple years. It's not the only exclusive that PlayStation has, and
Mm.
like, bring it to PC where more people can play it years after is like, you know, I don't know. I feel like if you're a fan of the game, you should be like, oh, cool. More people get to experience this great game that I love and cherish. You know?
But they're scummy PC players.
I don't think anybody who plays,
They only play Roblox all day.
I mean, yeah, if you're a PC
Is it
gamer,
going to be on Steam?
I don't know actually. That's a great question. I I would assume so because like everything. Uh, let's find out. Yep, it will be on Steam.
Cool.
And it's coming
Steam
summer
owns
2020.
everything.
So either get really mad and make stupid posts on why you think it's a bad idea because I don't really understand why you would be so down on it, but whatever. You know, just like
You do you.
yeah, but like don't be rude. Let people enjoy the game. Don't be mean to the
Yeah,
devs.
especially to the developers themselves.
Yeah, like the developers just no.
They just want the largest amount of people to be able to experience
Yeah,
their
they just want
game.
people to play their games and give them money. But, you know.
Hmm.
Anyway, moving right along.
It's time for the weekly game releases.
Weekly,
This week
we already did that
we
bit.
have what?
Never mind.
Excuse me, Peter?
No, just keep going.
No, I'd like you to say what you were gonna
I
say.
was gonna I was gonna do the whole like what we do this weekly bit, but we already did that this episode, so
Oh, okay.
screw it.
Well, we have four larger game releases, what I'd consider to be larger. Maybe I got this wrong, which is a huge step up from last week's one large game release.
Let's go.
So first of all, for Switch and PS4, we have Landgrisser 1 and 2. Um I've seen this game, I've wanted to play it, but unfortunately I'm broke right now. So maybe one day there will be a review for this game on the channel, but for now I don't have it.
Yeah.
You are the arbiter of fate in a world ravaged by wars through generations of heroes who battle for peace, order, or chaos. Command Leadin, Elwyn, and their companions in their quest to obtain the sacred sword Landgrisser and restore peace to a war-stricken land. Decide who your allegiance lies with in Landgrisser 1 and 2 remastered for modern consoles.
Yeah.
All right, we also have My Hero One's Justice 2, the sequel to last year's, or yeah, it was 2019, I think.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Fighting game. I think that one got average reviews, so I'm interested to see if this one like improved a lot or not.
Yeah.
My Hero One's Justice 2, the over-the-top follow-up to the smash hit 3D Arena Fighter, makes its heroic debut. Make full use of characters' quirks as you clash head-to-head in epic battles across huge arenas. Includes a bonus for purchasing the previous game, My Hero One's Justice, special customization item set for Izuku Midoriya. And, of course, I read the My Hero Academia manga before it became an anime, and then I never watched the anime. And I had no idea how to pronounce Midoriya, and my mom had the expert suggestion of mid-diarrhea, so I love saying that.
That's that's very much a mom suggestion.
Yeah, mid-diarrhea is my favorite character.
Glad to hear it. I know nothing about My Hero Academia, but
Yeah, it's very popular, though. It's like a really mainstream anime
yeah,
right now.
people seem to really like it. So I guess if you're a
Mm-hmm.
fan, you're a fan. Check it out.
For PS4, we have Neo 2, Journey to 1555 Japan, a country gripped in endless warfare where monsters and evil spirits stalk a land of natural beauty and menacing peril. Hunt down your enemies as a rogue mercenary wielding the supernatural powers of the mythical yokai. Can you survive the treacherous Sengoku era and the new and terrifying Dark Realm? Man, those hard Japanese words in there. I know them
Yeah,
all, but hard.
I I definitely am glad you're reading the weekly game releases.
Me too. um, so I saw some good reviews for this game. I have the first game because it was free on PS Plus. Like,
People really
who knows when?
like the first game, right?
Yeah, it was really good. It's kind of like a Dark Souls-esque game, and it's in like feudal Japan, which I love
I
that
have a
setting.
feeling like
So
people
one
get
day I'll
mad
get
at you
around
if you
to it.
compare it to Dark Souls.
Really?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is really like Dark Souls,
No, like
but
that's
like
the genres. It's like a Dark Souls-esque
yeah.
game.
I just know and it can because I can fall into this camp depending on what game it is, but it's like the I we're getting over it, but like there definitely has been a trend of people just like repeatedly comparing games to Dark Souls.
No, but I literally mean this is in the genre,
Okay,
like the
okay.
Souls-like
I
genre.
mean, you would know better than I would, so
Like you have like Sekiro is a Souls-like. This series is Souls-like. Dark Souls is Souls-like.
Yeah, Dark Souls is Souls like. That's our real hot take for this episode.
Mm-hmm. Next up on Switch, we have After Party. This already came out on PS4 a while ago, and I wanted it on Switch, so maybe someday I'll play it. Escape hell with your best bud. An After Party, you're Milo and Lola, recently deceased best buds who suddenly find themselves staring down an eternity in hell. But there's a loophole. Outdrink Satan, and he'll grant you re-entry to Earth. Control Milo and Lola with an intelligent conversation system that changes the story and your relationships based on every decision. Uncover their personality quirks and foggy history during the wild events of the night. Every step is up to you as you stumble through the underworld. Go on a hellish bender, uncover the mystery of your damnation, and drink Satan under the table.
I actually
This is from... Oh, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say that I think I've actually seen a trailer for this game, and I remember really liking the art style.
Yes, it's from the developers of Oxenfree, I think,
Oh,
which is a really well regarded game. Another one I haven't played, but I know people who really like it.
yeah. Well, I it sounds really cool. I like the premise a lot.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll have to check it out sometime.
But before you do you know what it's time for?
Let me check my watch. I have a small suspicion, but do tell.
Whackware, the radical segment, where every week I go through just interesting, weird, mostly shovelware titles that I find that have released, and I break them into categories in which there's two fake one sorry, I can't speak today. Two real games and one fake game that I made up. Peter has to try and guess which one is the fake game. If he does, he gets a point. If he doesn't, I get a point. Are you ready for round 1?
Well, first of all, I just want to mention that I'm actually coming off. This is a spoiler for podcast episode 3 if you haven't watched it yet. Just warning you
The
right
Echo
now.
Disaster. Go check it out.
Yeah, very good episode. But I actually got all of my guesses right that week.
Well, I mean, wasn't that hard. There were only 2 rounds.
Well, I don't know. Let's.
Similar to this week. There's only 2 rounds this week because there haven't been that many games releasing.
All right. Well, we'll have to see if I can keep it up.
Alrighty. Are you ready for round 1?
I am ready.
Let's begin. First is Jump, Step, Step. Jump, Step, Step is a gorgeous and funny programming game with bonsai trees, a crazy robot, and a broken rocket. Bob is short-circuited and goes mental. Please send him a series of moves to guide him back to his ship. Without your help, Bob will probably tell himself to step on a spike and die.
Interesting.
Ready for the next one?
I am ready.
Nin Nin Days. A sullen main character and a clumsy female ninja living together? In this romantic adventure game set in Akihabara, you'll laugh and you'll cry over the entertaining lifestyle of a slightly erotic female ninja in the main character's cohabitation.
Okay.
Third game?
Let's hear it.
Rabbit of Death. This game is totally radical, man. Bang out to sick heavy metal tracks as you traverse the world as the Rabbit of Death. Use your guitar to make anyone and everyone into a metalhead to save them from the pop empire.
What was the first game called again?
Jump, Step, Step. And that's the one where Bob goes mental.
All right. I want to
Then we
say
have
I want to say Jump Step Step is fake.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, it's real.
What?
Rabbit of Death is fake. I made up
Ah.
Rabbit of Death.
Wait, what was that second game?
And of course, Nin Nin Days is real.
Yeah, when I heard like Akihabara, I was like, "Oh, that's definitely like some weird like dating sim
Well,
kind
hey,
of."
I know Akihabara.
I mean, yeah,
I pronounced it right, hopefully. Maybe not.
I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. So,
Mm-hmm.
um,
All right. So I have 1 point. Are you ready for round 2?
all right. Unfortunately, my streak
Maybe we'll
ends
tie
then.
this time.
All right.
First game, Fish Catchers. Fish Catchers, all new fishing game from Janemba Interactive. Fish off of a simulated boat and try to catch more than any of the competitors. Become the champion of the fish catchers by finding rare fish fusions like hammerhead pufferfish. All new fish catching game. Play now.
Okay.
Are you ready for the second one?
Yes.
Dead or School. Join Hisako's fight for survival against the zombie infestation overrunning Tokyo and defend her right to a normal school life in this fast-paced 2.5D adventure. Forced into isolation underground by the zombie apocalypse, Hisako has little understanding of the world above. After hearing stories about schools above ground, Hisako dons her grandmother's school uniform and takes up arms against the undead horde with one goal in mind: to become a schoolgirl.
Okay.
All right, you ready for the third one?
I am ready.
Rainbows, toilets, and unicorns. Fed up with the world and exhausted by the hot weather, you resort to your last hope, your favorite unicorn-flavored ice cream. All of a sudden, you're struck by the urge to visit a bathroom, and the only option to avoid pooping yourself is the chemical toilet down the street. Thus began a bad trip in which you'll have to face your greatest fears in a fight to the last splash. So we have Fish Catchers, Dead or School, or Rainbows, Toilets, and Unicorns.
Okay, honestly, I think Fish Catcher is the fake one.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going with it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay, you got it. That is the fake one.
I knew that. Like, what was that company name you put in there?
Janemba Interactive.
That totally sounds like something you'd throw in to throw me off.
Janemba is a villain in Dragon Ball, and I did put that in to throw you off because I was just trying to think of weird company names.
Yeah, I was like, because I don't know. I like read that. I was like, oh, he totally put in like a wacky company name to mess with me. And I'm like, oh, if it's from a game company, then like I wouldn't pick it. But no, I did pick it.
Wow. I thought you would overlook that because Rainbows, Toilets, and Unicorns sounds really insane.
But honestly, that to me just sounds like such like a lol, I'm wacky and random kind of thing to like, so like that would exist, you know?
Okay. I got you.
All right. So tied game.
Tied game. Next week,
Not bad.
I sweep.
Oof. That is a bold statement.
It is, and I will follow up on it.
All right.
I will dive into the depths of your mind to read you and try and get you on the wrong one next week.
All right. You will have to really put your all into it.
Oh, I will. All
right. I'm excited to see.
Next up, drum roll please. Even though we're not being recorded or in the same room, let's just hear how bad this sounds.
Honestly,
drum roll please.
Oh god, this is gonna be.
It's time for the big chunk.
The big chunk.
Right, we have 2 big chunks this week.
Yeah, we got a
Believe it or not, it's because we didn't have one last week.
Yeah, you know how in Jeopardy they have daily doubles? Well, this is your daily double. This is your weekly double.
Is that even the right noise?
You would know better than I. I don't know anything about Jeopardy. Anyway.
Okay. First up, we're going to talk about GameStop. So, believe it or not, this was actually going to be our big chunk last week, and we went overtime and decided not to do one. And I am very glad we decided that because we have more news.
Yeah.
So, Reggie Fils-Aimé, former president of Nintendo of America, has joined GameStop's board of directors to help save the struggling retailer. This article comes from IGN.
Yeah.
So, let's see. So GameStop announced he's joined their board of directors, and Fils-Aimé, along with 2 more new board members, were brought in to help guide the company back to profitability. The board refreshment and governance enhancements announced today represent an important milestone in GameStop's transformation as we continue to evolve the company's business strategy for long-term success, said GameStop Chief Executive George Sherman in a statement. Then, in a tweet announcing the news, Fils-Aimé said, "The gaming industry needs a healthy and vibrant GameStop. I look forward to being a part of GameStop Corp board and helping to make this happen." So this is very interesting
Yeah.
because for me, I have we're going to talk a little bit about what GameStop can do to make us purchase games there once again.
Oh yeah.
How they can cater to gamers and not just casuals and families. Or they could cater to both, I think, but right now they cater a bit too much towards families who don't know of their toxic business practices.
Yes.
But
Definitely.
Peter, you yourself are someone who I wouldn't expect to just change your opinion on GameStop that easily. And when we heard this news, you were like, maybe they'll be better now.
I mean,
So I think Reggie is the perfect tactic to get gamers back into GameStop.
yes. I mean, I think I there there are a few big names in the world that I really have like respect for. Uh, at least I feel like I that's true compared to like most people.
Mm-hmm.
Reggie is definitely someone that I have always held a certain like aura of respect for, you know,
Mm.
despite the fact that I also really like Mother 3. But
Yeah.
Reggie is a good dude. I mean, you know, he did really good work at Nintendo of America, and
Yeah, he did, and he has like respect and credit from the fans. You know,
yeah.
they look up to this man, and even just being on that board, even if he doesn't do much, can really change people's outlook on the company. But I feel like he has good ties to the fan base and knows what they want. He can probably make some things happen. You know.
Yeah. I mean, everything to me is still like a one big fat maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but prior to him joining it was all a no. Like I was totally in the camp that like GameStop's going under, they're done. Like,
Yeah.
and now it's like, are they done? Because like,
Well, they are doing some experimental stores. I believe they have more than 3 different types of experimental stores that they're testing, and some of them are really interesting. Like they have board game stores where they have like you can come in and play games and they sell like Dungeons and Dragons stuff as well.
hmm,
Then they have and like card games as well, and that's the entire store's focus. Then they have entirely retro gaming stores, and they'll have
really?
areas with CRTs to just play anything in the store if you want. And
I gotta
out of
check
all
that
their
out.
new, well, they're not near us. I think they're in like Minnesota, or no, they're all in Oklahoma.
Oh,
Like they're using Oklahoma to test everything.
interesting.
But then every new model they have involves having TVs and seating for people to try games before they buy them. They sell snacks at them. Um, the employees are encouraged to like be friendly and like moderate things, and it just seems like a different GameStop.
Yeah, I mean that.
They've also like completely revamped like the look. Like you know how most GameStops have that like crummy like carpeting that's just kind of gross to be
Oh
on.
yeah.
They've pulled those out and have like hardwood flooring. Like they look modern.
Mm, I do like
And the way
that.
they display games has also changed. It's not just all cluttered over everything. They like actually display like the box arts and it looks quite nice.
That's very interesting.
So we may see a very different GameStop that's accepted by the gaming community in the future, or maybe they'll just go out of business. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, from what I'm hearing, like that really does sound like quite good improvements. I mean,
Yeah, there is one thing I'll say that I enjoy from GameStop right now is they have a because you know how they have all that junk and merchandise because that was like one of their bids to try and save the stores when they bought ThinkGeek, but it
yeah.
didn't end up really doing much for them. Well, they have a deal with the Pokemon Company where they'll carry Pokemon Center products in GameStops, and I love that because if I'm trying to buy something from the Pokemon Center website, they'll like try to charge for shipping, and they'll have the same products for the same price in GameStop, and I don't have to pay for shipping. So they all have like a little corner with like Pokemon products, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, especially for you, that sounds perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I've it has been quite some time since I've had respect for GameStop, and I'd be more than happy to shift my stance on them if things really do improve.
Yeah. And if you go to that IGN article, they have pictures of all these experimental stores. One thing that stands out to me, so first of all, there's tables of people playing games. There's displays in the background of just CRTs and TVs with all these retro consoles hooked up. There's like PC and Switch gaming stations.
Oh yeah,
But I
wow.
also see doors to bathrooms in a lot of them. So they'll actually have bathrooms now, and this really means
Ooh,
that they want to encourage people to stay and play.
that's really cool.
One thing though might be getting people like out because there's no like charge, so there might just be all these like freeloaders who just like hang out in GameStop all the time. So there might be a problem like trying to regulate that.
I mean, yeah, I guess that's why they're still testing it, because we'll have to see.
Mm-hmm. So I remember. So my favorite GameStop used to be about 2 minutes from my house. They closed it. It was very small GameStop. Everyone there was very friendly. They would go against things that the corporation tried to get them to do.
Hmm,
And throughout my entire childhood, I would go there. And I remember there used to be all these people who would literally just play the store displays for like the Xbox 360 and PS3 like all day, and like they couldn't get them out. So that was like a big problem for them back then, just on like the demos.
interesting.
So
Um,
we'll certainly see.
yeah, I mean based on what I'm seeing, it looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And Reggie
Maybe
is
Reggie will like honestly, if they change nothing and just have like a tour where like Reggie goes to different Game Stops, and then if you buy something you get to like meet Reggie or have him sign it, that would make them a lot of money, just like making him go around.
it would also make Reggie really tired, but
Yeah.
you know, that's a bit of a Santa Claus situation, but if
What if Reggie runs for like gamer president, and then he just like all his rallies are just at like Game Stops, like it's just like catch Reggie at this Game Stop on this date.
that would be kind of crazy. I mean, I'd probably go. I love Reggie. I'd love to meet him.
Mm-hmm. And then there's the possibility of him using his power to influence things at Nintendo. Like, what if there's like a Nintendo game that's only at GameStop or some kind of collectible or system? Like, he could probably get some kind of like Nintendo collaboration, like even on top of games. Like, if you think big picture, maybe there's some kind of service that Nintendo offers through GameStop or something that makes it more desirable to shop at.
Yeah, just hopefully it's not Xenoblade Chronicles again. Uh,
Mm,
because I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but if
yeah,
you're
I think
curious,
most people know.
yeah, definitely look up why every Xenoblade fan hates GameStop, because it's also a big reason why I hate GameStop.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, so
And they did the same thing with Metroid Prime Trilogy.
oh really? I did.
Yeah, that's another thing that they did it with.
Oh well,
Um,
honestly,
moving on to our second, huh?
I just
Did
want
you
to
have one
say
more
to
thing to
close
say?
that I
Yeah.
think it would be awesome to have a big chain game store like everywhere that is actually good.
Yeah, I
So,
shop at Best Buy, and it's because I really like I love their system. So first of all, they have excellent customer service, something that GameStop does not have. If you've ever tried to return anything to GameStop, you'll know what I mean.
oh yeah.
Um, so at Best Buy, if anything, because like I've had things damaged in the mail with shipping and stuff. One time I got like Nino Kuni 2. I had gotten like one of the collector's editions, and when I opened it, it had been like pierced at some point, and there was a big hole like through the game case, but I couldn't even see that until I opened it. So I brought it in and they just switched it out for me, no problem. Very easy, very fast. If that had happened with GameStop, I would still have that case with the hole in it.
Definitely.
Like, they will not deal with anything opened at all, even if it's their fault. And then at Best Buy, whenever I buy anything, I get points, which I can use to get gift cards, and that's really cool. So it's like I generate more money to spend there.
Yeah.
So if GameStop did a similar thing, because I mean they do with the rewards points, but they're not as generous with that. So if they did a similar like kind of actually good rewards program, I would be into it. And there's also costs money. Like Best Buy's just they do that with everyone if you have an account.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I
So you got anything else?
not really. I just hope that GameStop becomes good and then it works out.
Mm. Hashtag GameStop good.
Not yet. Don't do that yet. Wait until them to be like actually good and then do that. But
All
hopefully they
right,
will
maybe
be
they'll
good.
do GameStop directs.
That would
Well,
be
they'll
something.
talk about like changes they're making.
Honestly though, I would tune in maybe.
Yeah, and I also think just to go on with this topic that they can probably find a way to like revamp Game Informer to make it more relevant.
Oh yeah.
'Cause they own Game Informer, and about a couple maybe 6 months ago they had huge layoffs. Half the staff I believe were laid off. It's gone through massive changes where like the size has been scaled down. Like the magazines aren't as large as they used to be. They're littered with ads throughout them. And just like as a collector, I love physical gaming magazines, but I feel like, and it's available digitally too, but I feel like they can probably find some way to make it appeal more to average people
Yeah, totally.
and modern society because no one really uses like magazines or wants to look through not many people, you know.
Yeah, I mean I definitely am done with magazines.
Yeah, like if they had like cuz you know how Prima Games got shut down, so there's not really a company that does game guides anymore.
Yeah.
If they had a division of Game Informer that started making, like, they officially partnered with companies to make game guides, and then they only sold them at GameStop, they could find some way to be profitable off of that. Because you don't have to make too many, just make enough for the people that, like, the collectors who still buy them.
Yeah. I don't know. Game like walkthroughs that you like buy are kind of obsolete at this point also. They work as like
Mm.
collector's items, but it's like that's a weird thing to
Yeah,
make
and
it.
that's the problem is over the years it's gone down so much that like the companies went out of business because they were still trying to get just like the average person to buy it with the game. If you
Yeah.
spend way less money on making them and don't print as many and just appeal to those collectors, because if you're essentially trying to get GameStop to appeal to hardcore gamers, they would be going there.
Yeah, but even then I think it would be better to do something like art books instead of like walkthroughs.
Yeah, that would be cool too if they just started like a Game Informer like publishing and sold it in GameStop.
Yeah, because I would rather see like if I'm a collector and I want to
Mm-hmm.
collect stuff, about the game, I would rather it be, like an art book or a book with like interesting information about the like development history or something like that.
Yeah.
Because like, why would I get like a walkthrough book if it's a game I really like? I probably know how to get through it.
Mm.
You know?
They should maybe they make Game Informer more of a feature magazine. So instead of like, they'll still have reviews, but instead of like news coverage, because like it's really obsolete to get news coverage from a magazine these days,
Yeah,
they switch out news coverage with like feature articles and stories so that they can like go in depth with like game development, which I mean they do because they have features, but I mean more like you were saying art books. If they got small sections that they like instead of making a whole art book, they made those sections tailored to that. Like, say, like when Mega Man 11 was coming out or something, just Mega Man pops into my mind when I think of art books.
yeah,
They have a whole section of like, oh, here's 20 pages of just behind the scenes artwork from the new Mega Man game
yeah, totally.
and like developer interviews. That would be cool. And then you get, because GameStop doesn't even really have them out on display. No one really goes into GameStop to like buy Game Informer. You keep them around the store because they're trying to encourage more of like a loungy environment. You keep them around the store near the seats and stuff. People will look at them when they're there. Parents who are stuck there with their kids will look through and be influenced to buy more games.
Hmm.
And maybe even just make them free for anyone to take. Like, I know that would be a huge cost, but if they did that, it could potentially just make Game Informer relevant again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible. Anyway, uh, we do have a second big chunk, and I think it's about
Yes.
time we move on over to that.
Okay. What is it?
Our next big chunk is E3 is officially canceled due to coronavirus.
Uh-oh. This is huge, first of all.
Yes,
E3 was already teetering on becoming irrelevant.
totally.
PlayStation wasn't going to be there this year. They weren't there at all, and no presents. They didn't have demos. They didn't have a display, anything at last year's E3. Nintendo hasn't had a stage show. They've had directs. I believe EA has officially, like, they've still had like conferences and stuff, but they aren't officially through E3, unless I'm wrong.
I think you're
Um,
correct about that. I believe so.
so they're already like kind of irrelevant, and now the show is canceled. It's not postponed. It's just not happening. What's the response has been that all the companies that had shows planned are now doing them digitally. And what they're going to find is that they're most likely going to get an equal response to if they had a presence at E3. And in the next year, they're just going to continue it. So I really just see E3 dying from this. If not immediately next year, soon.
Yeah,
Or
it'll
becoming a very different E3 than the one that we know. Maybe they'll try to adapt by just becoming like a fan convention.
yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how E3 kind of shifts because I think we will see a big change in E3
Mm-hmm.
after it being canceled this year because like I don't know, having a convention kind of thing to like show off uh new products really isn't necessary in the gaming world anymore because all of these
Yeah.
companies, Nintendo's the best example because Nintendo Directs, they can come out with those
Mm-hmm.
basically whenever they want and
Yeah.
and people tune in and watch them and like
I was reading, however, that there are, like, we can't overlook the negatives to this. So lots of developers depend heavily on E3,
that is very
whether it's
true.
indie developers that are trying to show off their game, can't financially support it for much longer unless it like gets a lot of coverage. Apparently, there's a lot of behind closed door meetings that happen for just funding of games, pitching games. That's just not going to happen at all. So there's probably a lot of game ideas and developers that are just never going to be able to be in the spotlight
Yeah, that is very
from
unfortunate.
this. There needs to be some kind of industry event that's massive enough for meetings to take place throughout different developers and companies, just to give everyone a chance to, because the industry needs to stay vibrant and it needs to stay kind of just like a fun place, you know.
Totally. Yeah.
And if there's less chance to promote yourself as a small developer, your ideas, then these large brands and games are going to continue to just be the only thing released year after year, which will eventually get boring. There needs to be change.
Yeah, totally. Um it's going to be very interesting to see how this changes. Also, we should mention that the PS5 reveal is probably I would assume that's probably something they were going to try and reveal at E3 and
They're not at E3.
oh, were they not going to be at E3?
No,
I thought they
no,
were.
Nope.
Oh,
They announced once again they're not going to E3. No one knows when they're going to announce the PS5. Everyone's going nuts over it. It's crazy. People are saying it might get pushed till next year because of coronavirus.
huh. That's
Which I honestly don't really see a need for that to be rushed out because there's still a constant flow of big PS4 games coming out.
yeah, but I don't know. They seem like they're uh, trying to finally announce it at least
Hmm.
soon, and you know,
Hopefully soon. I'd love to just see what it is and what games are coming for it,
yeah,
even though I'm not necessarily going to be getting one at launch.
yeah. I mean, I definitely won't be getting a PS5 at launch. There just doesn't seem to be any reason for me to do that. And like from what I've seen, PlayStation is kind of notorious for having poor launches for their consoles.
Well, I mean, it's never a smart idea to get any new tech product at launch because you never know what defects they may have.
I mean, yeah, I agree, but like,
You got the original model 360 with the Red Ring of Death. You have like PS3 had
yeah,
problems, PS4 had problems. They all do.
yeah,
You had like the Switch. I mean, usually they're overblown because people are just getting views from writing about them, but they do exist.
yeah. But
Like my launch model Switch bent in half and is still fine. So,
yeah, I definitely it's still very important for consoles to have a good launch.
mm-hmm.
Um, but it's very hard to launch a console successfully because the consumer doesn't really know what they're getting into, or maybe there's just no games if you do know what you're getting
Yeah.
into, and like,
I honestly think console launches are better in spring than in holiday season, like what Nintendo did with the Switch, because it came out March 3rd, 2017. So
yeah,
if you can get enough people excited for it, it sells very good at launch, and then it doesn't die down because it goes right from launch basically into the holiday season.
yeah,
Whereas if you launch it at the holiday season, you're like vulnerable to a loss in sales.
yeah, totally. It's very easy to um lose a lot of
Mm-hmm.
business if you just come out with things at the wrong time.
So I think if Xbox or PlayStation delays the new console launches due to lack of production from Corona, I think they'll probably come out in spring. It won't be like a full year.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if whether these consoles do launch well because I don't know. At least for me personally, looking at them, it doesn't look like it's going to be too hot. PS5 looks like it's going to be really expensive, and I mean,
Mm.
Xbox
You
is
know what's
Xbox.
interesting though? Let me pull this up. So today I noticed on IGN's homepage they have a poll running, and the question is, if the next gen consoles come in tiered versions, which version do you plan on getting? Right?
Hmm.
And so if the base version was already going to be like $500 and there's going to be a better version, 500's a bit steep for today's market, right?
Yes.
So I was expecting everyone to say either the cheapest model available at launch or I'm waiting for a price drop to happen. The four responses are the I'm waiting for a price drop to happen, the cheapest model available at launch, I only care about a ton of storage, or I'd like the high-end premium version, biggest storage, best pack-ins.
Hmm.
And that answer has 63% of the vote.
Really?
I can't imagine everyone being able to afford that. If there's one higher than $500,
I mean,
I think they
also,
shouldn't launch with tiered versions because you want
yeah,
everyone to feel like they have the newest and greatest thing at launch that'll break that
yeah. No, I
perception.
totally agree. I think that's a bad
Mm-hmm.
business choice. Also, I think that a lot of people kind of say that because like, oh, like of course I want like the best version of the console, but they might not think like, oh, what if it's like $700, you know?
Mm,
Uh,
yeah.
because
I think the PS5 will probably end up selling worse than the PS4, but still be like better, like sell better than the Xbox, and I still think it could be like considered a success.
yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
it's very
Maybe they'll blow up.
it'll be very interesting to see. Uh,
Yeah. All
Also,
right, are you ready to move on? Oh,
well,
never mind. Got one more thing. Yeah.
I just want to mention that we are probably going to get a Nintendo Direct pretty soon because they usually have an E3 Direct ready, and so,
I saw a leak that we're getting one on March 20 something,
well,
26 maybe.
I don't trust leaks for
I don't either,
anything.
but this is, I forget who it was. It was some well known person, and like I think it was some news outlet, but they said there's going to be an Indie World Direct on the 18th. So if there's an Indie World Direct on the 18th, it'll pretty much confirm that there's going to be an actual Direct on the 26th or whenever they
I
said.
wouldn't say it confirms it, but
Or they're very lucky.
yeah, we'll wait and see. But I do think I think at least by like mid-April we'll probably see a new Direct,
Mm,
considering Nintendo always has something for E3. So,
mm.
and it's been a while since we've had like a main Nintendo Direct, and
Yeah, it has. People are very ravenous for one.
yeah,
Same reason people are ravenous for PS5 info.
yeah. But yeah, all right. Let's move right
All
along.
right. It's time for Hear Ye, this day in gaming. So, uh, on this day in gaming, on March 14th, 2002, Mr. Mosquito released in the US for the PlayStation 2. If you don't know, Mr. Mosquito is a really unique and strange game where you take the role of Mr. Mosquito himself. You fly around a Japanese family's household and you try to suck their blood without getting killed.
Very, very odd game.
Yeah, I actually have it. I got it at a tag sale, and it is. It's actually really hard too. It's a difficult game,
Hmm,
and it gets weirder as it goes on. Like the family goes like insane, and there's just some really crazy circumstances that happen in the game.
interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
So
yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, you know,
Yeah, you know, you were gonna say
yeah, I guess so. I don't.
Optim or News 12. No, before you go. All right. So this has been the Game Grinder podcast, the number one most scrumptious show in all of gaming. If you liked what you listened to, what was audible in your very large listener ears, please subscribe to us on YouTube. Check out our website at qbnews.wixsite.com/gamecubed. Check us out on Twitter at game_cubed. Or what am I forgetting? Oh, major podcast services. Just search the Game Grinder, and it should come right up. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Just remember that big ears means big brain.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're big
Y'all
listening,
watch Rick and Morty.
yeah, there you go.
We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye.